Hello everyone, today we are going to go over how to prepare our high value treats called Red Barn rolls. So we receive a variety of different dog treats donated to us, but whenever we receive Red Barn rolls, we get extra excited because this is a very high value treat. A lot of dogs will work for this when they will turn their nose up at other less high value treats. So whenever we get these donated, we want to get them prepared and ready to use as quickly as possible, and any volunteer can help us prepare these. So what you'll do is you'll locate the Red Barn rolls. If you're not sure where to find them, you can radio for staff and we'll assist you. If we already have one that we've started cutting up, we'll want to use that before we open a new one. But for examples today, we're just going to start with a brand new one. So what we'll do is we'll get a cutting board and knife. Again, if you don't know where to find those, radio staff and we can show you where we keep them. And you're going to start off with cutting whatever size chunk you think you're going to be able to cut into tinier pieces on your shift. So if you don't think you have a lot of time, you may want to start with something smaller. But for demonstration purposes, we'll just get a little guy going. Get this out of the way. And you can cut it into like thinner slices if that's going to be easier for you. Different people like to do it different ways. But believe it or not, we're going to cut this into pieces the size of half of a penny because it's so high value, it's so rich that dogs will work for a very small piece of it. So when it's actually time to cut up the pieces, you can either, cut up a bunch at once and then get them smaller, or you can work your way however you prefer, but about that size, boop, is what we're going for. So you can imagine if you're going to cut up a whole roll into pieces that size, it's going to take you a while. So that's why you maybe want to start off with a smaller piece. And I have very poor knife skills. Other people can do this a lot faster, but you get the idea. So then once we've cut up quite a bit of it, we'll want to put it in storage to make it available for our staff and volunteers to use. So we store them in a couple of different ways. We usually have a container here at Escondido campus that's labeled high value treats, so you can just toss them right in there. Some people prefer to pre-package them, and they'll take these small plastic bags that we have available in the volunteer center, and they'll fill them up about halfway, and they'll put multiple pre-packaged bags in there so that when staff and volunteers need them, they can just reach in the fridge, grab out a pre-packaged bag, and go off and start working with the dogs. The volunteers that are welcome to use this are really anyone that's helping dogs. So if you're a foundation level volunteer that's maybe doing kennel front clicker training, or you're preparing an enrichment item that you can use this in, that's fine. Please feel free to use them. But also our canine companion volunteers, our behavior and training volunteers that are actually working hands-on with the dogs, taking them on walks or out into the yards, they definitely will often use the high value treats because of all the distractions in the environment. So they're really helpful, and the staff of course uses it too. Now when you're finished and you want to store away the items, you can use gloves for a couple things. You could use them, you can put them on before you cut the items up if you don't want to get your hands dirty. I personally don't mind it. But you can also use a glove to seal off the roll. So if you didn't have time to cut up the whole thing, that's okay. This makes a little seal, and then we can pop this in the fridge because once it's open, it has to be refrigerated. So if you haven't opened it yet, that's fine. We can store it in any cupboard. But once it's open, we need to make sure that it gets kind of sealed off, either with a glove or with a Ziploc bag, and then put back in the refrigerator. So those are the basics of how to prepare our Red Barn roll high value treats for our dogs. And if you have any questions, again, please feel free to radio staff and we'd be happy to come assist you. Thanks.